Hi, good morning, Kafui. Thank you very much for joining us. We're somewhere around Amasama, a suburb called Dar es Salaam, and this is not far from the Amasaman township. In line with what you're discussing currently, we have actually moved to meet the mother of the child in question, and she's over to speak to us. So we're going to go straight to speak to her. Her name is Madame Evelyn Keme. We'll be speaking in the Twi dialect. As usual, when we're done, I'll do my best to bring us some kind of interpretation to what she's told us. And yes, and then we wrap up. I must say that I have seen the child in question as well, and I can confirm she's in good health. She's interacting very well, and she's all right. She's very cheerful. The mother is around, the grandmother is around, and the uncle is also around. So she's in good company. Let me go quickly and welcome Madame Evelyn Keme onto this discussion. Madame, good morning.
Good morning.
Me pacho apo mo te say.
Boko na monswe.
Erade adom ye boko. Me pacho edika ma me musa se masa na wo.
Pacho 3.
Enka bo ebe kan ye nsa no kire se wura no owo ema dumienu. Ni nyina na ye wo ma.
Pacho me ba papa. Owo madumienu. Me bisa no so madumienu.
Enti Emma 12 no omusen ena one ne wo.
Pacho ba ko one nanaska no.
Mame hwe bibi kakra. Me pacho ankasa eden na wo ye. Eden adwuma anase eden ni nia wo ye.
Pacho me small job.
Me pacho papa one no ewo ye no emfie sei ni.
On the September 12 September na kula nenya 12 years.
I must apologize to viewers that Madame Keme has lost her voice a bit, and so you'd have to bear with us. She's lost her voice. She's really struggling to get her voice up, and so please bear with us. I'll do my best also to take the microphone so close, just so that we can at least try and get it out of her. Okay, my main share, I want to know about September 12, not when you're 12 years. Me pacho, papa, wouldn't nete and sort in baby.
Pacho, me met me baby, no sutini baby.
Ye nyatene say what abrochiri baby. Wouldn't my baby put you know?
Me Monday. Me mbisano na enso news Poland.
Ma okay. So any empendo do saying and a wohunu afie bia mu.
Okay. Me ba nya 5 years no. Na obai 3 years later no buy oba no ko osamba 1 year later enche no ko oba 3 days time maybe sana sia na yes oko no wasamba no ko nti oba ko but this year no last year no be stay yeah na so oba Oni no ne abofra no muntem te say moyo nkofa say eja ne oba ena ne oba entem ya na te say ba ne papa ne de oba ye no best ye no menini ye fine ona ode ne ba ko ni school ko tua ni school fees nti school teachers for ni nyina nim no last year on the 12th odi ni birthday cramp no ono no kodi birthday ni man wo school mu nti teacher fo ni nim no bi student ni so e bi enum no nti akwat say popular nti na omukura mo so mo bisa akola ni say da bena baba be san be di birthday amana na isan say ono na why famous wo mo school mu ono na we di birthday kese wo mo school mu nti na mo say bisa no ansa na incident we is
Papa no unim no say ne nipa ban te say ne suban ne niye o te say.
Oh me who say or be or yegidi and I say or can one kind of problem be and them say e bia bibisa sometimes no e wo mu say call the be obi be frɛ wo be hu na so later obeka say bia obi frɛ na o refi me ta frɛ no onu so wo mu a na ofrɛ ba na say no on frɛ na me frɛ no so wakonya accident ba owo Kumasi. Sometimes so me frɛ also when accident to a hospital nti as one accident said 3 times or by and as one accident 3 times na so me ni ntina ase ni ndi nkomo e ono ane se me frɛ ho ti se o se ne ho ye asa no pe
Mame hwɛ emfuni kakra dano a asɛm ni siiye no na wo ba no ɔwɔ wo nkyɛn ɛna ɔbɛfa no anaasɛ yɛ hene na na abofra no wɔ na kwan bɛn so ɛna ɔfa ya ne nsa kan abofra no.
Okay, last week Tuesday no number 10 o'clock ɛna ɔfrɛ sɛ nadamfo bi wɔ abrochire ɔbɛkɔ nti ɔpɛ sɛ onsusu akɔlaa no na ɔmpam ataleɛ ne mpɔbɔ bi ɛmfa ɛmbrɛ no nti ɔba bɛfa no Thursday 12 o'clock I was school mu and I'm ti on the ya na and I'm say I or the ya no say ha to say your friend say ya or one or catty phone nti me tina asesa na me dream when I'm say e dey na brei e patch na me making kind of my dream say I don't know what I say Thursday oba be fa no school 12 o'clock me na me catch me hu 12 o'clock on the ya na me so me Jesus say o de ya no ansa nka say training ya nti akola no so on die ye nyina ye ndai ono ana di phone ni ma me na me pick call me call ni nche na me say ska say na o papa e kan o say oba be fa Thursday no ama wadamfofo bi esusu na damfo bi efi abrochi aba no we susu no apama atale ni mpɔbɔ ade ablo nto ba be fa Thursday na obisa me say odi ya na me say ai odi ya no ankasa sanka say ai eya oti say odi ya na me bisa say na ska obi kasa asɛm we ya wo odwen ho sɛn na akola nankasa ka say inde so de mi ko giske duro ana ye nyina ye sere ye ha
me pasho akoda no ti se ubisa no o ka se ne papa buisa ne dini ene akoda no ankasa kan se ne papa de ne koji sikeduru ana
se ono de okan ni ye nyina joke o se ndi se o de mi koji sikeduru ye nyina ye kan se jokes keke se if say so amote nsem omonim nsem se okrada we ba be fa okrada ne nyama me de me ba na me ne omudi nkomo me nso me tu omfo enti me ka sa akire no se ono a obi se oba be fa wo Thursday o se wo di ya na me so me ka se o di ya na o se o ya o ti se ye fra wo ya nti obi ka sa asem we kire wa wo badwe ho sen no se ne se o de mi ko gisike duro sa na kola ne kai me ntwa ntro ngu akola ne soso aya na adwo no
enti wa ka show hu nkomo oba so obefa akoda no one udi nkomo bi ansa na odi akoda ne ma no ana se ohia akoda no kwem no ode no koye
there be so say oba be fa ne Thursday e wo school mu nti imini akola ne ka sa wie ye no na Wednesday me call market nti me call me shop hono mo no na mpanyufo bi wo hono mo na me di tu omanim se madam fu bi say ne ba papa ba be fa ne Thursday okopam atale ama no nti ba be fa ne wo school mu 12 o'clock nti sa 12 o'clock no aya Thursday no sa akola ne di ya na me so ni man ma me no so ska se o ka se akola ne di ya na ne papa ne ka se ɛyɛ ɔte sɛ yɛ friend ya nti ɔmo no ɔmo ti aseɛ sen advice bɛn na me fa ma ɛna ɔmo ka kyerɛ me sɛ me nkɔ ka kyerɛ madam fo ne sɛ Thursday no ɛma akɔla ne nkɔ school na ɔntena ne nkyɛn wɔ fie anaasɛ me ɔnkɔ school nim na ɔnka nkyerɛ kyikyafo ne sɛ ɔpapa bɛfa akɔla na ɛma ne mfa no ɛna ekyire no me ka kyerɛ ɔmo sɛ ɛnyɛ madam fo biara na ɛmi amankasa me ba sika na ne papa ba bɛfa no ana ɔmo kora mo yɛ me sɛ megyi mi paa me ankasa na adeɛ ne ɛyɛ me na me bisa na me sɛ o me yɛ suggestion ahwɛ nti ɛhɔ no mo no ana ɔmo ka kyerɛ me sɛ ɛbɛyɛ a me ma akɔla no ɔnkɔ school na ɔmbɛ tena me nkyɛn wɔ store.
If you're watching GTV Breakfast this morning, we're speaking to the mother of the child who was allegedly taken out of school by her father to be sent for money rituals. Madam Evelyn Keme is the one we're speaking to. Stay with us as we go further to find out a few more from her. She's so far giving us a little background, the man, his character, his nature, where he has been, where he was, and also the circumstances leading to how he got hold of the child, and also certain questions preceding how he got hold of the child. In fact, the child herself, from what the mother has just told us, became a bit suspicious about questions the father had asked the mother about her day of birth, her name, and other things surrounding her. And having discussed that with her friends, they told her they're suspicious, and so she should not allow the child to go to the father. Let's go back and speak some more with Madam Keme. Ma menhwe inti na oma sika eko school. Na oko school no dan nisiye.
Oko school no papa na ambefa no. Inti ni numere 3 something hono no na ofre yese wa ba na mso da bi on mai na obi sam se tambe na omopon na mso ompon 3:30 na nso no on mai inti na ka jen se ndia Friday anopa oba befa no e de na akọ na msi yo inti akola ne ba na me ka che ne se ko papa se Friday oba befa o akọ na adechin Tadichi and I expect to be friend them. Why I bought a corona CS in who about because I bought say 640. Oh, no, papa ne free. Say, Obabe, Fanan, Miss Acolana Cassa, or near papa in Cassa. Until I did your papa in Cassa and catch your papa ne say. Be a more or say or dinner becono. Friday no, a ya, your momu, homeworks baby. Into your qua, own to me. And your homework no and I'll catch and so omu kwa sansa omo chia basese ya ahwana papa ne kati phone ehu anche no papa ne sanfrɛ say ni sister the Elizabeth me ma ne emfa ne be hia no amasama nti na omo esiesu omo ho awie nti na me ma Elizabeth ni ko hia wa amasama but before mbe free fie no nyame ani mi ntwantro me catch akola ne say o kwa o papa to nsuo ma won okwan so a mennom o ma waduane a mendi afa nsu no udru baby a obepam atale amawa o mo ka se yi watale a menyi me akola ne say sika me de wo kwada se me ne wo kwa akopam atale a ye yi watare ana o se da bi I'm saying, more conscious, Sheno and our care him. Oh, no, see you. Inti, I'm going to say, so Mudru, no, sir, almost a chinch now you are Talia. Kikem, like I say, me papa de Miko Jiske drew, and papa de Miko Jiske drew. Me de me catch learn. Me chown throw. Me catch learn.
Me pacho, Anyebia, papa no boss, Mount say, oh. Or how, or sikasem, or how?
Pacho one can't them.
Omako drew hono one tishi beam, a breben and uncrabeka onsa, senior sini.
Nti ɔde ne kɔ me share time sɛ ne papa ne bɛfrɛ. Nanso ne papa no wamfrɛ. Nti wamfrɛ saa no. Ne about to say 11:40. Ɛna me receive call. Ɔno kora na me kɔtɔ adeɛ nti me work no na de phone di m'akyi. Ɛna me sɛ na manka nkyɛ sɛ me de me phone obi frɛ mo mfa na. Ɔno sɛ ma fa phone na ma receive call na. Enipa ne shout wɔ me so sɛ me mfa phone ni manira, me mfa phone ni manira. Nti enipa no kora gyina phone ni so. Ɛna me sɛ ɔmfa ama me. Nti ɛhɔ no mu na me gye phone na me say hello. Na nipa no bisa me sɛ me ba no wɔ he. Nti ɔka sɛ me ba no wɔ he na me so ni teacher ni ana. Efisɛ ɔno ɔkɔ school na sɛ wan be school a teacher ni frɛ. Ebisa sɛ de nti na wan be school ana. Nti ɔno sɛ enye ni teacher ni na ɔyɛ police ni na oba ne na ne de ɔde ne number ama me. Nti oba no wɔ police station. Ɔne ni papa sese a na oba no papa de ne kɔgye skedro sana. Police ni ɔsɛ ɔyɛ police ni ne kae. Nti ɔmo wɔ oyibi. And I'm say no oyibi no kra ɛwɔ he fa me nim oyibi o. Ana ɔsɛ ɛwɔ adenta. Nti me mbra sese a. Nti ɛhɔ ana me di me ka me furu ka kosi wa amasama. Na me hyia obi na me ka kyɛn sɛ obetimi a ne ka ne yɛ correct ana obi mo ka ne yɛ correct. Nti ne ka ne yɛ correct ana. Ɔno sɛ ai obetimi de me akɔ adenta ana. Ɔno sɛ ai. Nti ɛhɔ no mu no na ɔde me kɔ na me ne yɛ suggestion wɔ ka nim sɛ say na police ni na frame. Moreover no nipa no so yɛ igbeni. Ana ɔka sɛ o hyia ne nua ba na asɛm ato ne dia wɔ sɛ ɔde me kɔ. Nti ana ɔde me kɔ yɛ. Saa na ɛkɔdu Adenta police station.
Right. So once again, thank you very much for joining us. We're coming to you live from Dar es Salaam, somewhere near Amasama. We're speaking with Madame Evelyn Keme, the mother of the child who was allegedly going to be used for money rituals somewhere last week. We saw the videos on social media and how the circumstances in which the father was handcuffed and taken away. I asked her about the circumstances of the father, whether or not the father had ever mentioned whether he has any financial problems. And she said, as far as she's concerned, no, the man has never mentioned any such issues with her. Also, whether or not the relationship between father and child. And she explained the father has been really very nice with the child, even though they don't live together. On the child's birthday last year, which was the 12th of September, it was the father who threw a big party in her school. And so every now and then her friends will ask when the next birthday will be and when daddy will show up. I ask her also about the circumstances leading to how the child got to the father, and she explained that the father had called previously to ask about the child's name, the day she was born, and when she discussed that with the child, the first thing the child could say was, given what questions my dad is asking about my name and my day of birth, could it not be that he wanted to use me for money rituals? And they both laughed over it. And then when she went to work the next day, she discussed the same thing with some of the women who trade with her, where she does her chop bar. Chop bar is a mini eatery in our local parlance. We call it chop bar. It could be a restaurant anyway. And so after she had done the discussion, friends who work with her told her that given that the man had called, he is coming for the child on that day, please don't give the child away to him. And if it is possible, don't let the child go to school. Keep the child at home and don't allow the child to go. Indeed, she didn't pay so much attention to it. She allowed the child to go. But before the child went to school, she warned the child and said, if your father comes for you, on the way, he buys you water, don't drink. If he buys you food, don't drink. If he buys you food, don't eat. And even in the car, do not sleep. Indeed, the father came home, sent someone to come for the child at home on the Friday morning. And so not even from the school, he got hold of the child from home. So the mother released the child to a sister of the father who somewhere halfway from Dar es Salaam to Amasama handed the child over to the father. And she also warned the child that if you get to where you're going, even if your father says he wants to sew you a dress, and so you're going to be measured by the seamstress, when you get there and they ask you to take off your dress, say no, because anytime I have taken you to a seamstress to sew you a dress, we don't take off your clothes. So don't take off your clothes. And if they insist you do, scream and shout, my father wants to use me for money rituals. How all this came to play even before the actual event occurred, for me, beats my imagination. But yes, that is the circumstances leading to how the child got to the father. And so all that happened, fast forward, she was there, the child had gone, and in the somewhere around midday, she got a call, and then her phone was brought to her. On the phone was a police officer who was screaming at her, where is your child? And then when she had mentioned where the child was at the time, she was invited to come to the police station at Oyibi, and she even said she doesn't even know there. And so she went, looked for her, and met a man who's an Ewe man who offered to drive her to the Oyibi police station where she was reunited with her child. Let me go back to her finally and take this from her. Madam, medase se oni edi nkomo ukodru police station ho anasa omodo ko fie ho ababi ana abofra no aye hu wo video no mu no
me kodru police station ho Oyibi police station na me kodru ye na mo se akola anada nti omo wankasa na omo twen saa na akola ne sorry o sole ye na police woman ba akode ne bai obe ohumia na obe ha game no ye matu na omo nyina omo kasa ampa ye ne ba nti hono mo no na omo ye ko tro yenum nsem na akola no so omo ne tro ne num nsem nti akola ne num nsem na ono tro ye na memeti ye na akola ne tro ye na sese na memeti ye na akola ne se omo kono ru baby na okacho papa se obanum nsuo na papa to nsuo ni ma no na me nti oto nsuo ni ma no nti omo sai kọ kakra no na so obedidi omo kọ kakra na papa kọtọ efiewura e de baaye oto efiewura na de baaye no omo sai kọ kakra na
efiewura na ye bag ya ye di nyoma gumu efiewura so ame
papa kọtọ ye omo kọtọ na omo kọ kakra na papa say ombe didi amunko didi na omuko didi ya na mbisa so ni hwan ne ko didi na omo say na police ni bisa ne say oni hwan ne ko didi na say oni driver ni ne ko didi ya na omo sambet na akenim nti omo ko kakra na papa ka che driver ni say onsi na ontwen driver ni nsi na ontwen na omo ba nti driver ni si ye no na ono ni papa no omo koye nti omo koye no duru bebe na papa park car no na omusiye na papa de safua no ma me bi ho na ma me no ton provisions e wo ho no na de papa safua ne ma ne se oba nti oka so oba na mo so mo nanti kakra anchepe no mo wura efie kese bi mu gate da no nti gate da no na omo ko tena ase oni ni papa nyina tena ase nti omo tena ase na obi baaye abefa papa de koye nti papa koye anche na papa ne san baaye obaaye pena omo ka kire ono akola ne se onko tena edan bi wo hono mu nti ono ko tena okọ dan ni mu okọ tena dan ni mu ohun stool wo hono mu ahunfo stool bu hono mu na golden knife e wo hono mu nti ma me ne bisan se ohun ahunfo stool ni golden knife no we nsura na o si there bi ohoye palace
mami hwe wankasa ebra okupie police station ho a unya hunu se nia anka ekusie nu na afi utwa ubu nkompo kohwe enkomo a oni oba no abo ne ensem a monkeka ye na ekoba ne sa no na etewsen wankasa na etewsen
okay mi bo shake nenso anya mi beble e se mi ka kire se omukọ a eduru honum na se bibisa na onja ne no nkike mu se papa de me koye skedro ntino me fi se bia onu na okọ oshi obi na kache na nipa niko police station ntina bia police for ne frame no omo ka se akola na di mi number o se akola na di mi number ne ma omo se on frame me Inti minim say bi akola na akoka che police for ne say e bi ni papa de ni koji skedro if say na ya kan wo fie ni nti no ma bra papa line no me ntwa ntro ma fra inti ma adwini say me call police station wona say am pa say asam na ye kan inti na oka sa che police for na then no onimo papa number inti me dru ho ankrofo ne be bisa me o papa number ohonum na me de ama no e bi nso na papa no akola na adwane afri ni nchen ana e bi o hwehwe no nti na me man frɛ o papa line no sa na me ye ma adwen nti na man frɛ papa line no
finally efri sɛ odi akwala no ba afie no akwala no ne ni ye ni suban eden na u feel say asesa anase eden ni nia ni si ye no de abre akwada no
oh say de me mba ne de me mfa bibia nsi omo efi say me ana metete omo nti bibia omo so omo hwe TV phone omo so nti me nya omo han nti bibia besi bia no ye nyina ye di hu ye discuss nti omo no o fi say bia ebia papa ni omo hu nti no me ye bibia me ma obi ehu say me ni adaje me djuma ye me djuma nti me ma omo hu me bibia nti wono ombo shake kra
nti se uja na kwan se onku school a na nije obaye na nije me ba ma be hu se odi agro ba me nchen ni den asesa won ne suban mu den asesa won se ne osifa ya na de
se na ye ti dada no sa bibia asesa won ho ye ba ntina police for no say e bi on be ku ni school nia ebe ya ne pen say ye kwa asori Sunday no akola bi na ye no say una ye do u papa do kwa koji skedro u ye na do kwa koji skedro akola bi na edi dinu akola ba ko ba o kire me akola no
da se pa se oni yen edi enkomo ma be hu se grandma ewa ha o uncle so ewa ha abusuafo wa brochire nso afro bebre brono a wote so no sen e no mo nso omofa asemu esi yi
bebre aba na oma aba share and cry oma ba share and cry.
Medase, thank you very much once again for joining us. I've been speaking with Madame Evelyn Keme, the mother of the child who was allegedly going to be used for money rituals by her father. I've asked her a few questions, and in the last few minutes, I asked what the relationship with the child father had been, and as far as she's concerned, everything has been okay. And I asked when the child had left and they had gone and the call came to her that this is what had happened, how did she feel? And she said, well, given that they've discussed it, she felt perhaps the child had run away and had gone to the police to allege that in fact, that is what the father had wanted to use her for. And so for her, leaving home and getting to the police station, she didn't even call the husband's or the father's number because her plan was to get to the police station, get hold of the child, and if it is exactly as they had discussed before the child left, then she would explain to the police that had been the plan. And so then from there, she will call the man, but then arriving there, she realized that's exactly what it had been. And then the child was made to write her statement. So what she gleaned from the child's statement was how she got to the house, and when she got there, what was there. This has been the special sit down with the mother of the child who was allegedly going to be used for money rituals by her father. Her name is Evelyn Keme. As always, my name is Darrell Alan Tego. This has been #GTV Breakfast. Thank you very much. Take it over, Kafui.
And thank you very much for the interview, very extensive. We have two questions that we want to ask you from my guest. Bright, what's the question you wanted Alan to ask Evelyn?
Yes, my question is that I find out from the woman when they handed the child to her, what was the processes like?
Okay.
By the police.
Okay, and then Christine?
He said that the woman said that they live separately. So I wanted to know about the access that the man has to the child, how often the man would go and see her.
Okay. So, Alan, two questions. Access, how often does the man get to see his daughter? And what were the processes like when the police stepped in? If you can briefly ask Madam Keme. Okay, so we're going to establish that link with Alan and get back to him to answer those two questions. This is GTV Breakfast. My guests in studio are Bright Appiah, Executive Director, Child Rights International, and Christine Ofosu Ampedu. She's a lawyer and a law lecturer. We're looking at the psychological, the sociological issues and legal issues around this gentleman who was alleged to have handed over his child to a herbalist for money rituals. The tables turned, apparently, that's what it looks like, and the herbalist actually reports him to the police. So there are lots of questions that need to be answered as far as this particular case is concerned. And Alan was speaking with the mother of the young girl in question. So with her identity even being exposed, what rights have been violated as far as the girl is concerned?
I mean, naturally, even if the girl was accused of a crime, you wouldn't have to reveal her identity. So, of course, being a victim, you would expect that there's no way that her picture should have been on the media. I think that generally it's something that is not allowed.
And the herbalist is the one who published this stuff on social media?
Yes.
So he has some questions to answer?
Yes, definitely. It brings us back to this issue of people being in the public court of opinion, where in this social media age, a lot of information just goes onto the net, and if people tend not to discuss the legal issues, then it's all about public opinion and what people think that they should be responsible for.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Alan says on the surface, the young girl looks all right, but could stuff be happening underground?
Oh yes, a lot of
underneath?
things. I think that they are just seeing the physical aspect of the child, and they think that it is okay, so they can draw that conclusion. It's not their fault. And I think that if you get a psychologist to go into it, we'll be able to diagnose the real issue that are affecting the child, and how we can approach it. So we are interested, and we want to find the family, get their contact, and then do some follow-up.
You'd like to probably connect with the lady, the mother. Okay, all right. We'll make sure that happens. Let me go back to Alan, who is in Dar es Salaam. It's not in Tanzania, but it's right here in Ghana. And he's looking at the mother of the child who is at the center of this alleged case of money rituals, kidnapping and probably killing for money rituals. Alan, so two questions from my panel here. They want to know what were the processes that the police used when the arrest was made, and Christine also wants to know what's the level of access the man had to his daughter. Those two questions we need from Madam Keme answered.
All right, okay. I'll go back to her quickly and then get you answers for that. Me pacho, as a musa me penny for person and say efa abufrano ne papa entem no abufrano papa utumi eba ne nchen ebribia ope ohia no se one ne di nkoma na so ohia no se oba ne nchen a eyade a bibia ensi ne ho kwan ana
se na asem na akosi no
before.
Oba ne nchen obefa no.
How often?
Ono aba no abefa no ko. No asande na aba. Tida ono so ba na so officer obetena akola nchen no ofie saa se weekends ya to meet na ne nchen saa to me ba no pa no atena ye nchen saa ewia na afede okọ.
So, Kafui, to that question, the man has unrestricted access to his child. There's been times when the child to spend weekends or even vacation with the father, and when the father has time, he also comes around to spend weekends with them. And then the second question, which is what are the processes the police are putting in place with regards to the child and how she may return to school.
No, Alan, the question is what happened when the police were handed over?
If we say as we see,
how did the police handle the handover?
Please come back.
We want to know, Bright, what's the question?
The question is the process of handing over the child to her as a mother. What processes went on?
Yes.
Okay, all right, okay, thank you very much. Nepesi who be say, asem ni si ye no, kwan ben so ena police for no fire omoda na abufa na hye wonsa
woman counselor bi ba counselor ena obisa say akola no anka ompese ontina omo counselor ni nchen ena akola nse de bi na obekọ ne maame ho nti ena ombisa me say akola no metimi obetimi de mi akwa na me say ai ena mo say problem bi eni wana me so akola do ni problem do ni problem anka na counselors for ni so ombetina omonchen ba problem bi eni wana akola so obeba me nchen na omo handle ne ma.
All right, so Kaf, to that question again, a counselor was assigned to them who took them through some kind of counseling. And after the counseling, they asked the child if she would remain with their counselor. But the child insisted no, she would go with her mother. And so they asked the mother if there are any problems or there may be any problems they should know before the child is handed over to her. And she explained there's no problem whatsoever. And so after their counseling, the child was handed over to her. But my information, just before I hand over back to you, my information this morning, upon the police's arrival here this morning, is that they are going to the child's school to find out what they could put in place to safeguard the child in particular, and so that she could return to school immediately.
All righty. Thank you so much, Daryl Alan Tego, our man at Dar es Salaam, with the mother of the lady, the young girl whose father was